Hi, everyone. My name is Roxanne Fenton. I am the Associate Director in Creative Careers, formerly known as Career and Professional Development. And we are here today to talk about how to present your portfolio. And in this case, when I say present your portfolio, I mostly mean talk about it. Probably in a portfolio review or a interview situation. Any sort of time when you are sharing your portfolio with someone who is going to give you feedback on it. I'm checking the chat as I move through here. And this is what we're going to cover today. Everything from just making sure we're all thinking on the same page about what the purpose of a portfolio review is, down to managing your technology when you're showing your portfolio, talking about your projects, and then following up afterwards. So this is where we are headed today. I'm going to try to keep this on the shorter side so that we can answer lots of questions and have a conversation at the end. And I'll turn the recording off for that. All right. What is the purpose of a portfolio review? I think it's good just to be sure we're all on the same page about that. It's a chance really to show an individual or a group of people work that you've completed or created, and usually to get some feedback. Whatever the context for your review, it can be an experience to both enhance or improve the individual pieces of work, projects, and the way you present your work overall. You may or may not be in a situation where a reviewer is considering you for a job opportunity or an internship opportunity. But in any review, you're going to get your work and get your work looked at, get some feedback, and expand your creative network. So that's what we're really thinking about in the purpose of a portfolio review and how you present your work to a portfolio reviewer. So when might this happen? It might happen in person. Oftentimes when we have companies come to campus to give career chats and give talks, one of the things they do is either in person or online is review portfolio work. So these can be, again, as I said, everything from very informal, just the company giving you feedback, giving you a general idea. Of course, they're keeping talent in mind, but they're not actively, recruiting for a role. Or you might be sharing your portfolio as part of an interview situation. Maybe that's a situation where they're more focused on sourcing for talent, or it may be part of an actual interview for a job or an internship that you've applied for. So that's kind of the context that I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about managing your technology, especially both in person and online. And we'll talk a little bit about how an interview is different from a more casual review. Okay, so some other contexts. Oh, this shouldn't say context. Oh, I missed on that. This is managing your technology. Most likely, you're going to be sharing your portfolio digitally. So whether you're in person or you're online, you want to be sure that you have your device powered up. You don't want to be running that fear that your device is going to give out on you before the end of your review. So check your power, bring a power cable if you need to, but the best thing to do is to make sure that your device is fully charged. Another technology thing that you'll want to manage is controlling what you show during the review. So I didn't share my screen today until I had my slides up, and you all didn't get to see my messy desktop. because I store files on my desktop like it's any other folder on my computer. But you don't need to see that. So that's what I mean about controlling what you show. When you are meeting with a reviewer, you want to have your technology set up so that the other windows on your device are closed, so that the little chat window is not popping up with your friend shouting profanity at you in chat while a reviewer is looking at your screen. You want to have notifications turned off, basically so that nothing else gets in the way of your work and that you're showing. You can minimize other windows, have your portfolio open before you put the device in front of the reviewer, or have your portfolio selected before you share your screen on an online review. Basically, it's just making sure that you are not showing the reviewer anything you don't want them to see. If you are showing in person and your portfolio is not stored on your device, do you need the Wi-Fi? Make sure that while you're waiting, make sure that you can access the Wi-Fi and that you can that you don't have any problems with that. Do a test run if you're doing online and make sure your Wi-Fi is working as expected that day. And then the final technology test is for online. Make sure you have tested your screen sharing. If you don't share your screen on Zoom very often, that you know how to do that smoothly. Jump on with a friend, make sure you can go right to your portfolio, all of that. So basically, this is all about being prepared technologically for your review. And I think one of the things that came up in the chat is, what should you include in your review? Should you hide the parts of your portfolio that aren't relevant to a job that you are applying for? And I think that can be part of both this technology prep and my next slide, which is general preparation. So I'm going to kind of straddle those as I talk about this. If you can find out who your reviewer is going to be before a review, it's really great to look them up. Look them up on LinkedIn, see if they're out there. So maybe if you're a concept artist, see if they have their art on ArtStation. Research your reviewers and their work. That can be really beneficial to kind of see what perspective they might be coming from before you get into the review. You want to choose what to show. So you do want to curate the work that you show and be selective. How many projects you can show is going to depend on the time that you have. In an interview, you're going to choose maybe 1 or 2 projects to highlight, knowing that the reviewer has had an opportunity to look at your whole portfolio. If you have a 10 or a 15-minute more casual review, again, you're going to need to select 2, maybe 3 projects that are the ones you want to get the most feedback on, or that show your skills the best. Consider putting together a PDF of the work that you want to show just for each review. If you do need to show from your portfolio website, make sure you've practiced navigating directly to the pieces that you want to show, so that you're not wandering around your website kind of looking for what you want them to see. So that's choose what to show. And then prepare questions for the reviewer in case you have some time left over. You can ask the reviewer about their workplace or their own work, or their career, or you can ask them for general advice about selecting and preparing your portfolio. This is something where you may not have time, but if you have time, you want to be prepared to make use of it. with some of those additional questions. All right, so that's preparation. You want to start and end your review successfully. So you really want to introduce yourself, say your name, say your first and last name with a nice pause in between. So I would say, my name is Roxanne Fenton, so that they can hear my whole name and take it in. Share your concentration. If you're in a major with a track, you can share what track you're from. If you're not in that, share your focus. Maybe it is print and editorial, or maybe it's packaging, for graphic design, for example. Even if you don't know specifically what you want to work in, say that part of what you want a portfolio review for is to figure out what your work is strongest in. You do need to share some kind of focus for the future. You want to say, I'm considering working in visual development, or I'm considering character design, or I'm considering, trying to think of what other majors we have in the room today. Excuse me. I'm considering soft goods design, or I'm considering hardware design. Some idea of what you are at least currently interested in. If you don't already know the names of your reviewers, and if you have more than one reviewer, you may not know which name goes with which person. So ask them for their names. What's really great about this is that this is a way that you can follow up with them at the end after the review period. So give them your name, ask for their names, maybe ask them for their job title. What job do you do at Disney Animation? And then know how to close out the conversation. Wrap up, thank the reviewer for their time. You can repeat back highlights of what you heard during the review. So you can say, for example, thank you so much. I really heard that I need to work on developing my own voice more in my portfolio. Or you could say, thank you so much for helping me focus on the layout of my overall portfolio. Or thanks for your insightful comments on my packaging project. And identify how that points you towards goals that you shared in your introduction. So again, this is a way to help the reviewer remember you, but also just a way to make the end of the review feel comfortable for everybody. And I've been talking for a little while now. And so I am going to go ahead and we're going to take a little brain break here. We're about at a halfway period for what I have prepared. And so just take a minute here with my countdown timer to stretch, get a drink of water. I'm going to stop talking and you just get a few minutes for your brain to catch up. Okay, so let's talk about talking about the work itself, about how you actually show your work. So when you have a project that you are introducing to someone in a review, you want to have a clearly practiced in advance, a main talking point about that project. So something that you can identify in 1 to 2 sentences and that gets at the main goal or the main purpose of the project. Could be your core concept. It could be sharing the brief if you were responding to a brief. You know, was this a design for a hypothetical hospitality company? Was this a reimagining of a classic story? Was this, the imagining of a particular car brand in the year 2050, for example? These could be the main point. It could also be the main thing that you were trying to learn from the project. While you are talking about your work, you want to show your process. So reviewers usually want to see how you think. And especially in any kind of interview situation or any situation where they might be considering you, say, for an internship or for a role of some kind, they want to see how you think. And it's your process that lets them see that. So give an overview. You don't have to go into all the nitty-gritty of your process. Give an overview. And again, you can do this in 2 or 3 sentences. And then you expand where the reviewer shows more interest in your process, right? Do they want to look at a particular sketch in more detail? Do they want to understand your user research? See what they want to learn more about and then talk about that. Definitely show sketches and in-progress work. This is absolutely crucial in industrial design, but reviewers in graphic design, in the entertainment arts, want to see this as well. Anything where someone is hiring you not just for the final project, but for your thought process. They want to see sketches. They want to see in-progress work. When you're talking about your work, you want to go beyond what's visible to the reviewer. So chances are, because this is a reviewer in your field, they're going to know what they're looking at. So you don't need to tell them, you don't need to identify what it is. So this is my, these are my sketches. This is my, this is my keyframe. This is my VizDev concept. This is my character lineup. This is a prototype. Those kinds of things they can see. Instead, what you want to share are decisions that you made about the project and the reasons for those decisions. Again, you want to do this with an overview first, and then dig into more depth where the reviewer wants to know more information. You're always kind of giving an overview and then following the reviewer's lead to get into more detail in any portfolio review. Don't be afraid to ask questions about the feedback that you are receiving. So feel empowered to ask questions. If you think you don't quite understand what a reviewer is trying to tell you, try asking them, can I explain that back to you? I want to be sure I understand what you're saying. Feel empowered to ask those questions and to ask for more detail. Sometimes, especially, companies will bring to campus young alumni who have not been in their field for very long and who aren't always practiced at giving reviews. So if for some reason you get a portfolio review from someone who's being a little general, feel free to ask more detail. Ask for more detail. And as I said, repeat back to be sure you understand what they are asking you for. Okay, so That's during the review. You are managing your technology. You're showing only what you want the reviewer to see. You're prepared to talk about the work with a few key phrases and some overviews about the work. You have your sketches, you're ready to show your process, and you are asking questions because hopefully a good review is a back and forth between you and the reviewer. And an interview should definitely involve back and forth, where you get to explain and then the interviewer gets to ask for more detail. Or they want to see, they've already seen your portfolio, but they want to know how you talk about your portfolio. What do you do after the review? So again, at the beginning, I said a review is a good way to build your creative community. So a great thing to do is connect with your reviewers on LinkedIn afterwards. So again, this is a great reason why you want to get their names at the beginning. But it's also not bad to ask if you need to, at the end, can I connect with you on LinkedIn? I'd like to stay up to date with what you're up to. You may want to, maybe they're not on LinkedIn. Maybe their key social media is Instagram and you want to follow them on Instagram so you can stay up on their work. But you want to build that connection. Connecting via LinkedIn or via Instagram is a great way to send a thank you. And this is really a way to make yourself stand out because not everyone is going to remember to do this. It's a simple 2-3 sentence follow-up where you thank them again for the review, you thank them for their time, include, it was so helpful when we talked about X, include something from the review that kind of jogs their memory about who you were and what you talked about, and say you look forward to connecting with them in the future. And you can then follow up over time as well with reviewers. If this is someone, you can reach out to someone for a portfolio review as a part of an informational interview where you spend 30 minutes with someone learning about their career path. Part of that can be a portfolio review. These are people that you're going to want to stay connected with and that you're going to network with a little bit as you build your community. So follow up, continue to interact with their posts on social media. Tag them if something comes up that reminds you of the review. Send a message periodically, or if it's the right kind of relationship, even ask for a future review. So looking at this moment in time with a review, less so an interview, but even there's networking and follow-up that you can do. Looking at this as a moment to build your creative network and to build your creative community. And with that, I'm going to give you some things to remember and recap, and then we're going to go to answering questions and talking about some of the questions you put in the chat at the beginning. We'll take more questions. But first, a good portfolio review requires some preparation. Having your technology ready, having the portfolio pieces that you want to show selected and organized well for this particular review, maybe in a PDF, maybe not on your website. You want to start and end the review successfully. It's a social interaction. So say hello, share your name, ask for their names, thank them for their time. Don't be afraid to go deeper, to both share what your deeper thoughts are about your work as the reviewer shows interest, but also to ask questions to get the reviewer to go deeper. And then follow up. Do that, bring that round full circle and work to add this reviewer to your creative community. So that's the content that I have pre-prepared. And I want to now take some time to address your questions. We can talk about presenting your portfolio. We can talk about your portfolio questions more broadly. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.